AI sorting machines are contributing to an estimated 1.2 million additional tons of food waste every single year in the U.S. alone, according to a January 2025 Nature study. And the reason? They were trained on picture-perfect food photography, and it's creating a massive waste problem. A January 2025 study published in Nature analyzed 12 food processing facilities across Europe and North America between 2020 and 2024. And what researchers found is absolutely wild. When you replace human workers with computer vision systems in food sorting facilities, those AI systems reject 30 to 50% more produce than humans ever did. Not because the food is rotten or contaminated. The AI is actually incredible at catching real safety issues, hitting a 99.2% accuracy rate for spotting actual rot or contamination according to the Nature study. But here's where it gets ridiculous. The Nature study found that these same systems also reject 42% of cosmetically imperfect but completely edible produce. We're talking about tomatoes with minor color variations, carrots that are slightly bent, apples with tiny surface blemishes. The AI rejects these at significantly higher rates than human sorters did, contributing to that 30 to 50% increase in overall produce rejection. Why? The study authors found that these systems learned what food should look like from professionally photographed images used in food blogs and social media, not from actual farms and fields where natural variation is the norm. The algorithms learned what food should look like from Instagram perfect images, not from nutritional science or food safety standards. Live Science reported that AI sorting machines reject perfectly edible tomatoes with minor color variations at 3.5 times the rate of human sorters. Think about that. A tomato that a human worker would have approved gets tossed into the waste bin because an algorithm thinks it doesn't match the Instagram aesthetic. The machine doesn't taste the tomato. It doesn't check nutritional content. It just compares pixels to its training data and decides this one isn't pretty enough. And get this, researchers estimate in the Nature study that if we just recalibrated these AI algorithms to match human judgment instead of food photography standards, we could reduce food waste across automated supply chains by 15 to 20%. That's not a small number when you're talking about industrial food processing. The machines are doing exactly what we trained them to do. We just trained them wrong. They optimized for visual perfection instead of food safety and edibility. This is a billion-dollar problem created by feeding AI the wrong success criteria. The researchers analyzed data from facilities processing everything from tomatoes to potatoes to leafy greens, and the pattern held across all categories. Visual perfection became the enemy of actual edibility. But while AI is being too picky about vegetables, it's also creating some terrifying security vulnerabilities in places you'd never expect. A proof-of-concept demonstration posted on Reddit's R machine learning community revealed something genuinely disturbing about llama.cpp, which, if you don't know, is probably the most popular tool for running AI models locally on your own computer. The GitHub repository for llama.cpp has over 70,000 stars, meaning this vulnerability potentially affects a massive number of deployments worldwide. Here's the problem. llama.cpp uses something called memory mapping by default. It's a performance optimization that makes models load faster and use less RAM. Instead of copying the entire model file into memory, it just maps the file directly. Super efficient. But the proof-of-concept demonstration proved you can exploit this to tamper with a running AI model in real time, without ever restarting the server, without triggering any alerts, without leaving obvious traces. The proof-of-concept tool is called LLM inference tampering, and the technical documentation posted with the demonstration shows it works by identifying specific tensor offsets in those GGUF model files and modifying them while the model is actively serving requests. The changes take effect immediately. You could inject persistent biases into a running model by modifying specific parameters in attention layers. Maybe always recommending a specific product. Maybe inserting political bias. Maybe leaking information. The Reddit post explains that the attack works because llama.cpp's memory-mapped file loading creates a direct connection between the file on disk and the model in memory. Change the file, and you change what the model does, instantly. And here's the truly scary part. According to the proof-of-concept demonstration, the tampering survives across thousands of inference requests and most deployment setups don't include runtime file integrity checks on model files. It's not a one-time glitch. It's a persistent backdoor. The model just keeps serving biased outputs until someone notices the file has been modified. The llama.cpp documentation notes that you can prevent this attack by using the no-map flag, but that significantly increases memory usage and load times. So there's a real trade-off between performance and security that most users don't even know they're making. This is what I mean by AI's unintended consequences. Nobody designed this as a vulnerability. It's a side effect of a legitimate performance optimization. And it exposes something deeper. We're deploying AI infrastructure at massive scale before we fully understand the security implications of our implementation choices. The proof of concept researcher noted that this isn't a bug in the traditional sense. It's an inherent characteristic of how memory mapping works. You can't patch it away without fundamentally changing the architecture. This security vulnerability shows why governments are scrambling to control AI development. Just days after this exploit was discovered, the White House announced new rules that treat AI computing power like a military weapon. Here's what that means. PYMNTS reported that the Biden administration proposed new rules on January 13, 2025, that would require U.S. companies to notify the government before partnering with foreign entities on advanced AI development. And when I say advanced, I mean really advanced. The proposed regulations reported by PYMNTS only apply to models trained with more than 10 to the 26th computational operations. That's 100 septillion calculations. To put that in perspective, only models at the level of GPT-4 and Claude 3 hit this threshold. This computational threshold would affect fewer than 10 AI models globally as of January 2025. PYMNTS reported that companies would need to report partnerships with entities in China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea within 30 days. The White House briefing on the proposed rules explained that this is based on the Defense Production Act, treating AI compute capacity like a strategic military resource, which, honestly, it probably is. When you're talking about models that require 100 septillion operations to train, you're talking about computational resources that only a handful of organizations on Earth can muster. That's not just technology, that's geopolitical power. Arati Prabhakar, director of the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy, stated, "These proposed rules will help ensure that U.S. technological leadership in AI benefits our national security while enabling responsible international collaboration." The example everyone keeps pointing to is Microsoft's $1.5 billion investment in G42, that UAE-based AI firm, back in April 2024. Reuters reported that deal required G42 to cut ties with Chinese hardware suppliers. Under these new rules reported by PYMNTS, that's exactly the kind of partnership that would trigger mandatory government notification. We're essentially watching the AI Cold War get official rules and regulations. The computational red line is now 100 septillion operations. Below that threshold, partner with whoever you want. Above it, and you're dealing with technology the U.S. government considers a matter of national security. The Commerce Department's proposed rule states that violations could result in significant penalties and restrictions on future AI development partnerships. But not everyone is taking the regulatory approach. ET-Edge Insights reporting from the Economic Times revealed that India is trying something completely different with its India AI mission. While the US and Europe are scrambling to retrofit ethics and safety into AI systems that are already deployed, India is building responsible AI into their foundation from day one. ET-Edge Insights reported that the Indian government launched the India AI mission in March 2024, with a budget of 10,372 crore rupees. That's $1.25 billion dedicated to building AI infrastructure and computing capacity. NASCOM estimates that India's AI market is projected to hit $17 billion by 2027, growing at 25 to 35% annually. ET-Edge Insights reported that India has over 5,000 AI startups as of 2024, making it the third largest AI startup ecosystem globally after the US and China. But here's what makes India's approach unique. ET-Edge Insights reported that the Ministry of Electronics and IT released the India AI Ethics Framework in February 2024, emphasizing transparency, accountability, and fairness before mass deployment, not after problems emerge, before they happen. Rajiv Chandrasekhar, Minister of State for Electronics and IT at the time, stated in March 2024, India's approach to AI will be fundamentally different. We're building responsible AI into our foundation, not retrofitting it later like the West is attempting to do. And the India AI mission documentation shows they're backing that up with serious infrastructure. India aims to establish 3 centers of excellence for AI and deploy over 10,000 GPU computing capacity by 2026 according to the India AI mission documentation. That's not just research labs. That's production-grade computing power designed to train cutting-edge models on Indian soil. But the most ambitious part? The Bashini project. Government reports cited by ET Edge Insights reveal that India is training AI models in 22 official languages. They've already created speech and translation datasets for over 200 million speakers of languages like Tamil, Telugu, and Bengali. This could make India the first country to achieve truly multilingual AI at national scale. Think about what that means. Most AI development has been English first, with other languages as an afterthought. ET Edge Insights analysis shows that India is building language diversity into the core architecture. That's not just an ethical choice. It's a massive competitive advantage for a country with that much linguistic diversity. When you have 22 official languages and hundreds of regional dialects, you can't just translate English models and call it done. You need native training data, native linguistic structures, native cultural context. Which brings us back to the stock market, because someone is making serious money off all this AI chaos. The Motley Fool reported that Palantir Technologies stock has absolutely exploded, up over 340% in the past 12 months as of January 2025. And there's a specific reason why. Their artificial intelligence platform, called Ape, launched in April 2023. And the Motley Fool's analysis shows it's basically letting enterprises deploy large language models on their own proprietary data without sending that data to OpenAI or Anthropic. Palantir's Q3 2024 earnings report showed the company reported third-quarter revenue of $726 million. That's 30% year-over-year growth. But the really crazy number is U.S. commercial revenue, which the earnings report showed grew 54% year-over-year. That's almost entirely driven by Ape adoption. Companies want ChatGPT-style AI, but they want it running on their sensitive internal data. That's what Palantir is selling. The Motley Fool reported that enterprises are willing to pay premium prices to keep their data in-house while still getting frontier AI capabilities. The Q3 2024 earnings showed that Palantir's customer count grew from 304 customers in Q3 2023 to 629 customers in Q3 2024. They more than doubled their customer base in 1 year. That's a 107% customer growth rate. Alex Karp, Palantir CEO, stated in the Q3 2024 earnings call, "The demand for Ape is unlike anything we've seen in our 20-year history. We're seeing conversion cycles that used to take years now happening in weeks." The earnings call transcript revealed that enterprise customers are signing contracts within weeks of initial demos, a dramatic acceleration from Palantir's traditional sales cycle. Now here's the controversial part. Financial data as of January 2025 reported by the Motley Fool shows the stock trades at approximately 175 times forward earnings. That's an absolutely insane valuation. For context, the S&P 500 average is around 20 times forward earnings. So you're paying almost 9 times the market multiple. Is Palantir worth it? That depends on whether you think enterprise AI adoption is going to accelerate or plateau. But here's what's interesting. The Motley Fool's analysis notes that Palantir started as a defense contractor building spy tools for the CIA. Now they're teaching Fortune 500 companies to use ChatGPT-style AI on their most sensitive data. That's either genius positioning or a privacy nightmare waiting to happen, depending on your perspective. Here's what connects all these stories. Unintended consequences. AI food sorters waste 1 million tons because nobody thought about training data bias. A performance optimization in llama.cpp accidentally created a backdoor. The US draws a computational red line that might fragment global AI development. India bets $1.25 billion that ethics first beats move fast and break things. And Palantir's stock defies gravity by selling enterprises the ability to keep their AI in-house. We're deploying faster than we understand the implications. The question isn't whether AI is going to change everything. It already is. The question is whether we're going to learn from these unintended consequences fast enough to avoid the really catastrophic ones. Because right now, we're optimizing for speed and capability, and we're discovering the costs after deployment. That worked fine when AI was just recommending movies. It's a lot scarier when it's sorting your food, securing your infrastructure, and shaping geopolitical power dynamics. What do you think? Are these just growing pains? Or are we fundamentally approaching AI deployment the wrong way? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to stay ahead of these stories before they blow up, subscribe and hit that notification bell. This stuff is moving too fast to miss. I'll see you in the next one.